Imagine being able to walk out to your backyard, patio, or deck and pick the ingredients for a salad, then walking back inside your home to prepare that salad for your lunch or dinner. Eating a variety of fresh vegetables every day is important to our health, and what better way than to grow your own salad ingredients? Let's dig in. Welcome to Homegrown, your backyard garden podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Rogers, and together we'll explore growing a successful vegetable garden no matter where you live. Today we're talking about growing your own healthy salad ingredients. Growing your own salad garden doesn't take as much space as you might think. Sure, in a large traditional garden, you might see a row of lettuce here and a row of radishes over there, and another row or maybe a bed that contains some herb plants. But if you don't have that much space, you can devote a small area, such as a flower bed, one raised garden bed, or even a collection of plants growing in pots, planters, and containers on your balcony or your patio, to growing salad greens, radishes, cucumbers, and other plants that are commonly added to salads. You don't need or want to grow your plants in straight rows anyway. Growing several types of plants together in a space will give you a healthier garden with fewer pests. And think of all that wasted space between those garden rows. You can grow more plants in a small space by planting them closer together, and use succession planting to maximize your space. Growing your own salad greens and vegetables allows you to grow the healthiest food possible without chemical pesticides and fertilizers. My main reason for gardening is to avoid these toxic chemicals. Personally, I can't eat lettuce from the grocery store. It literally hurts my gut. Lettuce is often contaminated with some of the most potent pesticides used on food, and it's often treated with preservatives so it will last longer on the store shelves. Think of all those lettuce recalls you've heard about over the years, where the lettuce or a salad mix caused food poisoning. You can avoid these problems by growing lettuce yourself and the other vegetables to go with it. Color and variety are additional reasons to grow your own salad ingredients. Eating a variety of foods of different colors provides our bodies with the specific nutrients that are naturally found in each of those colors. Such a salad isn't just pleasing to our eyes, it's good for us. Just imagine a salad that's made of both red and green lettuce leaves, spinach, or microgreens, with some herbs, a sliced red tomato or a yellow pepper, topped with some colorful flower petals, and maybe some alfalfa sprouts. You'd pay a premium price for such a salad at a fancy restaurant. But the thing is, not everyone has enough outdoor space for a big garden. You might live in a townhome, an apartment, or a rented house where you can't till up the grass. Or you might own a home with a small backyard. But maybe your apartment has a balcony, or your home has a patio. You can grow your salad plants in containers, even in a flower bed. My favorite place to grow plants for salads is in my raised beds that are about 8 inches deep. But honestly, the salad plants are pretty much grown in just one 4-by-4-foot raised bed, so the space needed really is minimal. Of course, the more people you have in your family, the more space you may need, depending on how often you eat salad, how large your salads are, and what plants you want to grow. If you plan to grow your salad plants in a flower bed, you're pretty much ready to go. If the bed is covered with wood mulch or rocks, you should rake all of that off first. If the ground underneath the mulch is really compacted, it looks like concrete, it will help to break it up at this point. You can do this with a shovel, a metal rake, a fork hoe, or whatever you have. But there's no need to dig it all up, or to turn it over completely, or to use a rototiller. Just stick the shovel in the ground as far as you can to get some air into the soil. Actually, I've found that the easiest way to do this with really compacted hard soil is to wait until after a really good soaking rain. Then add some bagged compost or soil to the flower bed before planting. An inch or two, or maybe more, on top of the existing soil would be great. If all you have is a balcony or a patio, well, this is where the magic of container gardening happens. Growing a salad garden in pots and containers on a balcony or a patio is easy, and it doesn't have to take up a lot of space. You can use nearly anything that holds soil to grow plants. Just be sure it's sturdy and that it has drain holes so the water can escape. Pots, buckets, flower boxes, grow bags, even hanging baskets can be used to grow salad. If you have the room for it, a child's wading pool can hold a good-sized salad garden. If you're going to grow your salad in a raised bed, well, think about it. A raised bed is really a big container, but without a bottom, just set right on top of the soil. Just like a container, it too should be filled with good soil and compost and should drain well. I have 8 secrets to success to growing a garden full of salad ingredients, and I'm going to share those with you today. The first secret is choosing the right plants. I'll go over some of them here, but I also have a free guide to help you choose the best plants for your salad garden. You'll find the link to the guide in the show notes. The key here is to grow small plants that produce well, and to grow a variety of colors, textures, and flavors so you won't be bored with your homegrown salads. Some of these plants can be purchased in the spring at a nursery or garden center to be transplanted into your containers or your flower bed. Others will need to be grown from seeds, but it's really not hard. You'll find information on planting seeds for beginners at my website, and we'll talk about it in upcoming episodes as well. The second secret is that you don't have to plant that whole packet of seeds. Plant just a few seeds of each kind, maybe even just 1 or 2, depending on how much space you have. Store the rest of the seed packet in a zippered freezer bag in the back of your refrigerator, where they won't be affected by moisture. Start your salad garden by planting leafy greens. Since you'll be using these as the base of your salads, you'll need to plant more of these than other vegetables. Then round out your salad garden with some fun and delicious veggies that will complement your salads. Leafy greens are usually the base of a salad, but there is so much variety to choose from. You can grow microgreens, spinach, and the many kinds and varieties of loose leaf lettuce, just to name a few. You can even grow those microgreens in your kitchen any time of year, and sprouts too. But back to the lettuce, because this is important. Grow loose leaf lettuce instead of head lettuce. Loose leaf lettuce is different from that head of iceberg lettuce that you buy at the grocery store. Head lettuce takes up more space in your garden. It takes longer to mature, and when the plant is harvested, that's all you'll get, 1 head of lettuce that needs to be used up before it goes bad. Loose leaf lettuce is a much better choice for a home garden. It's a cut and come again type of plant. Cut and come again. In other words, you can harvest the outer leaves as soon as they are large enough and leave the rest of the plant to continue growing. Spinach can be harvested the same way. That baby spinach that you buy at the grocery store is immature leaves that you can pick from the plants when they reach 2 or 3 inches in length. Leave the rest of the plant to continue growing so you can harvest more leaves in a few days. This is another of the space-saving secrets of small salad gardens, plants that continue to grow and produce over a period of time. Lettuce is usually a cool weather crop that doesn't grow well in hot weather, but there are several heat-tolerant lettuce varieties that have grown well for me here in Oklahoma. Our summer temperatures are over 100 degrees, but Muir and Cherokee are the 2 varieties that I have grown, and they did very well for me here. Throughout the growing season, you can grow a variety of these loose leaf lettuce plants in various colors and leaf shapes and textures to keep your salads interesting. Buy pre-packaged lettuce seed mixes, which contain a variety of leaf colors, textures, and lettuce alternatives such as arugula, chervil, endive, mustard greens, and so on. Almost every seed company packages their own selection of these seeds. Sometimes they call them mesclun, or perhaps a gourmet blend. The next type of vegetables to grow for your salads are radishes, beets, onions, and so on. These are root vegetables. That is, the root is the part of the plant that we eat. These plants produce just 1 root per plant, so you might think that they are space hogs. But you can eat the young leaves of radishes and beets as well as the radish or beet itself. Green onions are just onion plants that are picked early, before they form the bulb of the onion, and the tops can be eaten too. Because you pick them early, you can plant something else in that spot after you harvest them. And that's another secret to growing a salad garden in a small space. Grow plants with more than one edible part. And because you pick those green onions before they form a bulb, you can plant them closer together, so they don't take up as much space as they normally would. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers are often included in salads, but they do require more space and more time to grow. But they're not impossible for you to grow in your salad garden. Many of these plants need a trellis to grow on, to keep them from sprawling all over the ground and taking up a lot of room. But you can be very intentional in the varieties you grow. For instance, bush cucumbers are a better choice for containers and small spaces. A vining variety of cucumber will definitely need to be trellised, or it will literally turn into a jungle. My one cucumber plant last year was huge. I couldn't even find most of the cucumbers in that mess until they were overripe and had changed color. Take my advice and use a large trellis, or grow a bush variety instead. Tomato plants can be huge as well, but recently seed companies have been offering seeds for micro tomato plants that grow about 1 foot tall and produce lots of cherry tomatoes. These plants would be a much better use if you have limited space. Be sure to read the description if you order micro tomato seeds. Some of these plants will grow tomatoes that are just the size of peas. Others are cherry tomato size. If you prefer to buy transplants at the garden center instead of growing tomato plants from seeds, you won't have as much choice, and you will be limited by the kinds the store carries. But instead of growing big salad tomatoes, you could grow cherry tomatoes instead, which are more readily available than the new micro varieties. Cherry tomatoes usually mature sooner than large tomatoes, and the plants are usually very prolific. Sun Sugar is one of the varieties I like to grow in my own garden, and it's usually available as a transplant. Cherry tomatoes are the perfect size for a salad, since they can be eaten whole or cut in half to top a salad. Just know that even though the tomatoes themselves are small, these plants are still full-sized and will need a heavy-duty trellis. On the whole, look for plant varieties with names such as dwarf, mini, compact, and patio for plants that will be a more manageable size if your space is limited. Now for the fun ingredients that will turn your salad into a gourmet delight. These are the extras that make your salad pretty, add flavor, and elevate your salads from ho-hum ordinary to extraordinary. You can add herbs, flower petals, sprouts, and more to your salads. And surprise, they're easy to grow. Chives, for instance, are a great substitute for garlic, and depending on the variety, the flowers are also edible. Chives are a perennial plant, which means they will grow for years instead of just one season, and 1 pot of chives will be enough in a small salad garden. Sweet peas and snow peas are another great addition to salads. Let the plants trail over the side of your planters or your containers, or grow them on a short trellis. The pea pods themselves can be eaten whole when they're young and tender. Of course, all these plants will grow their best if you can supply their ideal growing conditions. Most vegetable plants appreciate full sun, which simply means a location where they will receive 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. Tomato and pepper plants do require a lot of sunshine. But many of the plants that are eaten in salads can tolerate some shade and partial sun, such as lettuce, spinach, and the root vegetables. The general rule is that if you grow a plant for its leaves, like lettuce, or for the root, like radishes, they can be planted in partial shade. Plants that you grow for their fruit, such as tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, need more sun. But growing in containers and planters can be an advantage. You can move them from place to place to take advantage of the sun's path during the growing season. You might not want to move them daily, of course, but if your available sunlight changes as the sun moves with the seasons, you can move them to a better location that isn't in the shadow of a building, trees, or fences. You'll also need to keep an eye on your salad garden and water when necessary, so locate your garden near a water source or within reach of a hose. Plants need about an inch of water per week, whether it's rainfall or from a hose. Plants that are growing in containers will need to be watered more often than plants in a raised bed or in the ground. Now, let's recap those first 4 secrets to success, and then I'll give you a few more. First, growing the right plants, such as loose leaf lettuce instead of head lettuce. Try saying loose leaf lettuce 3 times fast. These plants will grow and continue to produce over time. A head of iceberg lettuce must be harvested and used, while cut and come again plants can be harvested leaf by leaf and will continue growing for a longer harvest. You don't need to plant the whole packet of seeds. Plant what you need and save the rest. Grow plants with more than one edible part, such as beets and radishes. Fourth, plant a variety of colors, textures, and flavors, such as various colors of lettuce, spinach, microgreens, plus herbs, edible flowers, and sprouts. Here are the rest of the secrets. Plant cool weather crops early in the spring. Most of them can handle a light frost. You'll have an earlier harvest. Number 6, when you harvest one plant, put something else in its place. Don't let that space go to waste. If you pull up a green onion, plant seed for a heat-tolerant lettuce variety. Number 7, you can plant seeds much closer than the seed packet recommends when you use containers, flower beds, and raised beds. As your plants grow, thin them out and eat the plants you removed. This leaves more growing space for the plants that are left. And number 8, eat the weeds. You don't even have to grow them. Did you know you can eat dandelion leaves? They are best when young, in early spring, and are tasty in a salad. But dandelions aren't the only weeds you can eat. There are many edible weeds growing in my lawn and in my garden, including lamb's quarters, chickweed, wild lettuce, and more. Of course, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that you should never eat a plant you're not familiar with. Check foraging field guides and check with local experts before you consume any wild plants, and know what parts of the plant are edible and how to prepare them safely. So, how long does this take? How long before I can eat my first salad? Well, sprouts take just a few days. Microgreens are ready to eat in 7 to 10 days. Radishes mature sometimes in 3 weeks. Loose leaf lettuce takes about 4 weeks, but you can start harvesting the young leaves as soon as they are 3 to 4 inches tall. Spinach can also be harvested early using that same cut and come again method. Each day that you harvest salad ingredients, you choose different plants that are ripe so that you'll have a variety of tastes and flavors with each and every salad. You'll be surprised at how much you can grow in a small space. You can grow your own healthy salads with an endless variety of flavors, colors, and textures in a space that's smaller than you might expect. Even if all you have is a sunny balcony, a patio, or even a flower bed, use these secrets to success to grow your own salad garden in a small space. Don't forget to grab that free guide to plants to grow in a mini salad garden. You'll find the link in the show notes. In the meantime, I hope you'll subscribe to this podcast so you won't miss a single episode. Share with your friends too. Leaving a review would be awesome. As always, you'll find the link to the transcript of this episode in the show notes. I'd love to keep in touch with you. You'll find me on my blog, oakhillhomestead.com, on Facebook at Oak Hill Homestead, and on Instagram at Oak Hill Homestead. I'll put those links in the show notes too. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you here next time on Homegrown, Your Backyard Garden Podcast.